Board of Directors of the Carefree Water Company, Inc. will come to order. So sorry for the delay in getting started. Just working through some technical difficulties. Please take a silent roll call. Agenda item number 1, review, discussion, and possible action to approve the May 7th, 2024 minutes of the meeting of the Utilities Community Facilities District Carefree Water Company. Any comments, questions about the minutes? So hearing none, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the May 7th, 2024 meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of May 7th, 2024 meeting.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 2, the final fiscal year 2024-25 budget adoption, Carefree Utilities Community Facilities District and the Carefree Water Company. Mr. Greg Crossman.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. I apologize that you can't see the slides, but it is a fairly short presentation, and I will go through it and try and explain each slide. It is a fairly short agenda, so it shouldn't take too long. Our final and only agenda item besides the approval of the minutes is agenda item number 2, which is the final adoption of both the UCFD and the water company budgets for fiscal year 24-25, which will be approved via resolution 2024-03. And the water company budget does include our rates, fees, deposits, and charges. Just to kind of go through a summary and review of our budgeting process, last meeting on May 7th, we did give you a detailed presentation on both budgets for the UCFD and the water company, and you did approve both of those proposed budgets. And again, the budget for the water company included the rates, fees, deposits, and charges. You also held a public hearing on both of those budgets right after the presentations on the budgets. Tonight, June 4th, we will be asking you to adopt those proposed budgets as final budgets via the resolution we're talking about tonight, 2024-03. There have been no changes to the budget that were presented to you on May 7th. Essentially, the UCFD budget is a $5 million budget that focuses on debt repayment and capital improvement projects, and the 2 projects that we talked about in May, the Peaceful Place Booster Pump Station Improvement Project and then the Silver Saddle Pipeline Improvement Project are all included in the UCFD budget. The water company budget is also a $5 million budget, and our rates and fees do include a 4.4% increase in rates. That's across the board. That includes the base fee and the volumetric fee, which is consistent with our 5-year rate plan. We're in year 4 of the 5-year rate plan. That does increase our budget by about $300,000. So this year's budget, our revenues are expected to be about $4.7 million. Next year's revenues are expected to be about $5 million with this rate increase. So with that, that is completes my presentation on the budget adoption. If there's any questions, I'd open it up to questions from the board.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crossman. Any questions or comments from the board? I do have one question. So at the last meeting, we talked about capacity fees and maybe considering raising them to be more in line with what's common in the marketplace with other water companies.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that? I mean, in other words, do we have to wait till next year we go through this budget process, or is something that the water company and the board can tackle in the meantime?
We can do it at any point in time, Mr. Chairman. We would probably need to go back and revisit those fees, possibly. The last increase of development fees we did was 2 years ago, I believe, and it was based on inflation. So if we want to look at other things, we may want to hire a consultant to relook at the development fees. Unfortunately, we haven't done that since I've been here, so for 12 years, and just kind of kind of relook at the whole basis of the development fee and have them recalculated.
So when you say development fee, that is synonymous with capacity fee?
Capacity fees, yes.
Okay, well, hopefully we don't have to hire a consultant. But we know what the inflation's been for the last 2 years anyway.
Right.
We can figure
Right.
that out and go to
Well,
a metric.
And we did that inflation adjustment 2 years ago, so it's something we could do every year, especially if inflation is high. But it's something we have kind of done in increments more than annually, in blocks.
Well, I would personally like to see us have a look at that in this fiscal year,
Okay.
sooner than later.
Okay.
Because we're just, if we are significantly below what the market is, or what Cave Creek is doing, or our neighbors in Phoenix or Scottsdale, then we're just leaving money on the table.
When was the last time you did that, Greg?
That was 2 years ago, I believe.
That was the $2 million, that was for the inflation adjustment.
That was
we're talking
inflation
about. But
adjustment,
prior to
yeah.
that, did you say it was 12 years?
It was more than 12 years ago because they were set before I got here, so Stan did them. Do you remember when Stan did the original calculation?
They were set before I got here.
Okay, so.
Have you compared them recently with Cave Creek or
Yes, we
not
have
necessarily Scotts or Desert?
compared them with Cave Creeks.
Just out of curiosity, are we
And I think Cave
far
Creek's
off?
at about, our total is at about $7,000 to $8,000. Theirs is more in the $11,000 range.
It sounds like there's something we should look into.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so let's take that as an action.
Item,
Okay, thank
yeah.
you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the board? So hearing none, I would entertain a motion for the approval of Resolution 2024-03. A joint resolution of the Board of Directors of the Town of Carefree, Arizona Utilities Community Facilities District, and the Board of Directors of the Carefree Water Company, Inc., adopting a district budget for fiscal year 2024-25, and adopting Carefree Water Company rates, fees, deposits, and charges applicable for fiscal year 2024-25.
I move that we adopt Resolution 2024-03.
Okay, last chance for any comments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Adjournment. Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I'm- I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Okay, so the town council meeting will begin at 5:30. So please relax and enjoy yourselves for the next 50 minutes.